What's up, my dudes? My name is Schrute, and in this video I'm just going to be talking about Battlefield 5. So apparently it's going to be coming out sometime in later 2016, hopefully, maybe, probably. I don't really know, but a lot is just speculation about this game, so we don't really know if it's going to be set in kind of a Vietnam era or World War era or kind of a modern day era. We really have no idea, but I'm pretty excited about it because it's been a cold minute since I got to play a really good Battlefield game, and it seemed like Battlefield 4 was, when it first came out, there's a lot of problems with it as far as online goes and stuff, so that was kind of a bummer. And then they came out with that whole the whole hardline, Battlefield Hardline and everything, and it really wasn't my cup of tea. I could tell right away. I never even got Battlefield Hardline because I just knew it was kind of a one-off game, and I knew how fast it came out after Battlefield 4, and I was like, there's no way they made a solid game in that amount of time, and sure enough, I mean, some people enjoyed it, but I just wasn't really into that whole cops and robbers kind of vibe. I'm more about just what Battlefield's all about, you know? So it really wasn't my kind of game, and I could tell that just by seeing the gameplay of it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm definitely excited for Battlefield 5. So, the Battlefield series is one of those that I feel like is so underrated, man. You know, you kind of have those three main shooters out there. They're always going to have a place in the shooter genre, maybe. So you got like Call of Duty, which could die out eventually, but it's so mainstream and anybody can just pick it up and play it. So I feel like it's going to last for a while. And then you kind of got the whole Halo vibe where it's a little different. You got more health. You got kind of different kind of stuff. You know, I wouldn't say boosters and stuff, but they have that in Call of Duties now. So, but you kind of have that kind of game. And then the other just really strong shooter out there is the Battlefield series. And the fact that the Battlefield series is the most realistic. I get so immersed in these games. It's just incredible, man. I don't think I've ever seen a game where I got as immersed as I do in Battlefield games. I don't know what it is exactly, but whatever they do, man, it's pretty awesome. Those dudes were gangbanging back there in the corner. Oh my God, and yeah, parachute. What just happened? That was crazy. That's a bad guy. Oh my God, I'm doing all this live. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little freak out moment there. That was crazy. I just went down the side of that. I don't know what just happened, man. But okay, so what was I even talking about? Battlefield. Oh yeah, Battlefield 5. The immersion is just it's uncomparable to any other game out there. It truly is. Like it's pretty crazy because when you go and play like a Call of Duty and then you go back and play a Battlefield, you think, why? How the heck am I even playing that Call of Duty? I mean, yeah, the controls are quick, responsive, and I understand that, but you can see just it's so arcadey on a Call of Duty game when you compare it to a game like this. It's just so realistic and awesome, and like I said, the immersion you get in this game, I used to get that in old school Call of Duties, but once I started playing Battlefield games and I seen what was actually possible in video games, then it's like I no longer get that immersion in a Call of Duty type game. I only get it in a Battlefield game, and that's just so awesome. And the snipers are so realistic. The maps are really cool. You got all the vehicles. It's just a perfect replication of a battle, you know, like any sort of combat. It's indescribable if you've never played a Battlefield game, man. And I love them. I truly do. Like, I think they're well balanced. Just everything about them is so awesome, and the fact that, like, it's kind of hard to explain it, but I just got whooped right there. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, man, those Battlefield games. But they're just uncomparable to any other game out there, and I feel like they don't get enough credit just because it's a little tougher for just any new person to hop right in there and start playing it. You know what I'm saying? The controls, it's a little more realistic. Like, it's not as Twitch shooter reaction kind of vibe going on, so people, it's a little harder for just any average Joe to hop on there and do well or something like that. So, but I think that's really cool. I like how there's a skill gap to the Battlefield series, and I've always been a super big fan. I played back in Bad Company days and stuff like that, and it was just, you know, you're sitting behind cover and all of a sudden that gets blowed up, and then you're you know, you feel so realistic. And this is what I say about video games a lot of times, and a lot of people say, the graphics don't really matter as long as it plays good, and I do agree with that at some point, but then when you get as immersed as you do in a Battlefield game, man, it's magic, you know. That's the only way to explain it. It's a whole nother level of magic that you would never even experience in a Call of Duty. So I love these games, and I'm really hoping that the Battlefield 5 is a true Battlefield experience, not another one of these one-off kind of games. I don't know why they ever spent their time on that, but I think if they make another big Battlefield game with I think it would be really cool to go back in time to like a World War era or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. And could you imagine that, though? Could you imagine the realism of a Battlefield game, but back in the World War era? That's pretty sick, bro. Like, that would be awesome. We're in the Vietnam era and be this realistic, but once you start getting in the Vietnam era, some of those weapons, like there's the M16 and stuff like that, so it's not going to feel quite the same as like what a World War era would be, because it's going to feel more like a modern game if you have a Vietnam type game. So, you know, it would feel more like these modern games because you would have full auto weapons and stuff like that. And I know you have some full auto weapons in the World War era and stuff, like the PPSH and crazy stuff like that, but I think it would be cool if the main like focus on the assault rifles and stuff was kind of like the M1 Garand and the semi-autos. And that was the really cool thing about the Call of Duty World at War, is the fact that everybody wasn't just running around with full autos. Like, you had a real separation. You had your SMGs and you had some full auto assault rifles, like 1 or 2 or whatever, and then a lot of semi-automatic ones and snipers without scopes. That's a ton of fun and stuff like that. So whatever they do come up with, it's going to be cool, and I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, we still got a little while to wait for it before we know anything, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. So anyways, I appreciate all you watching these videos, and I'll keep on making them. Peace.